Do you ever sing just random songs about anything?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Like all the time.
She's like, yes.
Yeah. I'll
She's
sing.
calling you out now, too.
I sing about the things I'm doing sometimes.
Yes, I'm the same
like
way.
elf style, like I'm singing,
yes.
like
Yeah,
that.
exactly like that.
Welcome to the Good Dudes Podcast with Aaron James and Logan Bean.
Where each week we're going to talk through the ins and outs of everyday life through a Christian perspective.
So let's do it. Well, hey, a little different this week, huh?
Yeah.
A little new setup, not, too new, but,
Yeah.
we got an extra face with us here today.
We do.
Yeah, buddy. Glad to be here.
You excited?
Awesome.
I am.
Logan, tell us who we got.
So this is my buddy. This is our buddy, Jake Peters. Man, we went in youth group together.
Mm-hmm.
Gosh, I think I started going to that church in 10th grade.
Yeah. We started going about the same time. I maybe started like a year before.
Yeah.
But yeah, we kind of went to church together growing up
Yeah,
and stuff.
I've known him since then. It's cool just to be like, and it's the same youth group as him, and then now we're both working at a church.
Yeah.
Doing kind of the same thing. I mean, he's youth pastor and worship leader, and so I'm just doing the worship. But it's cool that we get to like kind of walk the same path.
Yeah, and we got to play guitar at different church events and stuff together and stuff, so it's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, and circles colliding. I mean, I met Logan, then Logan brings Jake in. It's like, okay, cool. Like, the 6 steps. Like, have y'all heard that? The 6 steps.
Like everybody knows somebody. Yeah.
That's crazy. But just growing your
Is that a movie?
growing your networking. No, it's not a movie that you haven't seen. Oh man. But you've got a podcast.
I do have a podcast.
So tell us about your podcast.
So my podcast is Top 4 with Jake, James, and Cooper. And so it's my little brother, Cooper, and then my buddy, James. And it was kind of crazy. We had been talking about starting a podcast. And then I got on Facebook one day and I'm just scrolling through. And Logan had shared you guys' first promo video, I guess.
Yeah.
And I was like, no stinking way. And y'all were talking about how y'all were going to be doing the top 5 country songs or something like that. And I was like, we had been talking about doing a top 5 podcast, so we would always have a revolving topic. We wouldn't get stuck on the same thing.
Yeah.
And I texted Logan, I was like, dude, literally we were just about to do a podcast and now y'all are
like,
doing
no
our
way.
podcast. And so we're like, what are we gonna do? And James just goes, well, we're gonna do top 4 instead. That's funny. And so we pick a topic every week. We have like a little wheel on our phone with a bunch of different topics and stuff. So we've done like top 4 Pixar movies, our top 4 favorite meats to eat, top 4 I can't even think of what we've done, but we've got a couple more in the works that just haven't been released yet.
Yeah.
But it's been a lot of fun. It's a lot of work, but it's fun just talking to people and then sharing it, because I like listening to podcasts too.
Yeah.
Like I listen to you guys a lot because it's like you're part of a conversation, even though you're not part of a conversation.
Mm-hmm.
It's cool just hearing about their lives and what they're doing, what they like to do.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. My favorite part about your podcast is your song.
Oh, my song? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. I came up with that one night just for fun with it, but I'm wanting to improve it a little bit because usually what happens is I wind up working on the podcast and I start at like 10 p.m. and then I work on it until like 2 p.m. So it's like 1:30 in the morning and I'm up there trying to record the song for the episode. And then I'm like, top 4 podcasts. It's like trying to be real quiet so I don't wake anybody up. It's so bad, dude.
Yeah, we definitely took the easy route and just did the
Y'all
random
sound so
song with the
professional,
voiceover though.
So it sounds good. Yeah.
No, but I think it's funny because everyone seems like listens to podcasts now, but I don't think a lot of people realize how much time and effort goes into it.
Yeah.
I mean, not even from the editing side, just from the thought process of, hey, let's do this, and then let's be consistent at it.
Yeah, dude, that's
It's
the hardest
so
part
much.
for me.
Oh yeah.
Because working in church, I work at Ridgeline Church in Alma, and we're only 3 years old. I was part of it from the very beginning, before it was even a thing, and I spend a ton of time doing that. And week to week, you don't necessarily know what's going to happen at the church. Like, we're in the middle of a huge building project right now, so it's like, hey, tomorrow night we're tearing down a wall. Okay, well, I guess I got to be there for that instead of doing whatever else I was going to do. And so trying to do that as well as do something like this as a hobby.
Yeah.
It's so much fun, but it takes up a ton of time. But it's rewarding though.
Yeah, I mean, there's more weeks than probably not that Logan and I are like, hey, we've got lunch hour. You want to run home before we have rehearsal at 1 to go do something real quick?
That's it.
And run here. And that's the good thing about having this at my house is we could do it pretty much any time. We don't have to worry about it.
Yeah.
But when we had one at the church, it's also hard when like the people aren't fully involved.
Yeah.
Or like bought into it.
Mm-hmm.
So like, luckily, like we're both want to do this, both really enjoy doing this. But the one that I did like when I was just producing it for the church, like one person kind of wanted to be there, and then it was really like I wanted it to happen more than they did.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then it became like, come on, like trying to prod the bear, you know, and it just doesn't work.
No.
You've got to be bought in to keep doing it.
Yeah. Yeah. And you have to enjoy it too. Like,
Yeah.
I feel like there's a lot of kids with like YouTube now. Like whenever I was like in middle school and in high school, I watched so much YouTube. I was like, man, I want to be a YouTuber.
Yeah.
When I grow- I want to play video games for a job. Who
Yeah.
wouldn't, you know?
Yeah.
But then like I made like a Twitch one time, and I was like, I'll just stream when I'm playing Call of Duty. It's so much work, even if like no one's watching you, because like it's like, well, I don't want to just sit here in silence, because then if somebody joins, they're just gonna leave again. You know what I mean? And it's like, well, it takes the fun out of it in a way, unless you're invested, unless you really enjoy it. And it's the same thing with doing anything like this, I think.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I mean, what I think is really cool is just kind of the different, we're not getting like so many followers and stuff like that, but the just like the different people that you wouldn't think would listen to it. Be like, hey, or like say a joke about something that we talked about that only if you listen to the podcast you would know.
You would
about.
understand,
And you're like, oh, that's like encouraging to know that they listen to it intently enough to make that joke.
I think some of our most like faithful followers are people that I would have never
same
in
with
a million
mine,
years
dude.
guessed
Same with
that
mine.
that's who it was.
I figured some of the kids in my youth group would like find it, and some of them have, and they'll text me like, dude, it was so funny yesterday. And then the people that listen the most, that talk to me about it the most, are like people my parents' age. Like the lady who does like announcements at her church and helps out with a lot of that kind of stuff, she like listens all the time, and she like will like reference stuff we talked about and stuff like that. And Kaylin, my wife, her dad, he listens to it, and so he'll be like, we talk about, he likes to barbecue a lot, and so we'll talk about his barbecue and stuff, and then he'll be like correcting me about stuff I said wrong. That's like I was talking about something in our last episode, and he texted me as he was listening to, he's like, no, I was this that you were supposed to talk about. I was like, oh, I didn't even know. It's like, what are 50-year-olds listening to the podcast for?
My dad surprised me the other day, and he was like, sends me somebody else's podcast, and he goes, hey, you should listen to them. I thought it was pretty cool how they did this. And I was like, have you been listening to mine and you didn't tell me that you were? Like, okay.
My mom texts me the whole time she's listening to mine, because like I'll talk about my mom quite a bit, like especially like we did an episode about food, like meat, and so like my little brother and me were like talking about how mom would make roast when we were kids, and we didn't like it. And so then like mom's like, oh, so you didn't like my roast, huh? So I always think that's funny. But
that's awesome.
It is weird that like the demographic that engages, it was not really what I anticipated it would be. So but it's cool. It's a lot of fun.
So what do y'all use? Like, what mics do y'all use?
So the setup we use, it's kind of jank. We started out with some USB microphones, and I had this little USB adapter that was like $5 at Walmart, and one mic every time would like have this weird high pitched like thingy going crazy, and I couldn't figure out what it was. And so the mics are, I can't remember exactly, they're Shure's, and I can't remember what they are, but they've got USB and like XLR out.
Okay, cool.
And it runs into a Behringer Euphoria 4-channel mixer basically, and I run that straight into GarageBand, and just I do my best. I'm not an audio engineer. I don't know anything about it really, but I just try to make it sound okay. Cooper, my little brother, I get on to him and James so much when we're recording, because Cooper likes to lean way back, and I'm like, dude, get back up to the mic. And then James shouts when he talks, so like he'll start out like, we'll do mic check, he's like, check 1 2, and then we start talking and he's screaming. So but it works. We just do it upstairs in my little game room. So
same thing. I think that's really funny, like a different world, but in the worship world, I love it when a vocalist gets up there and goes, test, my mic's on, my mic's on.
Can I get more of me in this monitor?
I can't hear myself. Can you turn me up, please, in my pack? And you're like, nope, I can't. When you sing, then I will. But no. Or even like guitar players, or like a bass player the other day, like just barely like pluck, pluck.
Yeah.
And they're like, I can't hear myself in the mix. And you're like, I can't hear you in the room. You're right. Didn't know you played
Yeah.
something. Like, I'm sorry.
That's why. Yeah, you always want to go through a song, and then after that, be like, okay,
Yeah.
what do you need?
That's what we normally do. Like Sunday morning practice. Like we don't have that much time or anything. So all of our guys, we show up like an hour and a half before service. We practice for that first hour, and then we like break before getting back together for the actual worship set. And usually I'll be like, all right, let's run through and get a check of like the mics and stuff so people can adjust a little bit. But then we play through like the first chorus of our first song, and then it's like, okay, now I
Yeah.
know like I need to pull them down. I need to turn that up. So playing, like when you're actually playing is when all that comes out.
Yeah.
I always like it's like, I think most sound techs know this whenever somebody's like, can I get more of me in my monitor? And you're like, don't even move it. And they're like, perfect. And like,
Yeah.
I didn't even change anything.
And you never tell them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no.
You never
Yeah.
tell them that you didn't do
No
anything.
problem.
Yeah, I got
Always
it. Yep. Is that better?
Great.
Aaron's probably
That
done
sounds
that
awesome.
for me a bunch of times. So That's fine.
I don't know. It depends. It depends on what you ask for.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
if it's something that I'm like, I don't know about that. I mean,
Yeah.
our sound guy, he's very good at like when he sets someone's mix up, like it's gonna be pretty close. And then I get there's personal preference, and everybody's ears are different and everything. But like when you ask for something random, it's gonna be one of those like, no. Like my always thing is always what's the loudest? Like, what are you hearing more of? Because normally it's
Yeah,
not.
yeah.
You need more of something. It's
usually
you need
need
less
less.
of something else. Yeah,
Something.
and that's what people just don't get.
And a lot of people's headphones too, like they aren't that, not everybody's
Yeah.
using like $300 like
Yeah.
multi-driver headphones and stuff. So they'll be like, man, I can't hear anything. It's like, well, you got the bass maxed on your thing, and like,
Yeah.
do you really need to hear the bass player right now? And you pull it down, they're like, wow, clarity.
Wow.
There it
man.
is.
Yeah.
My free Apple earbuds that came with my phone all of a sudden sound
Yeah,
okay.
exactly.
Oh man.
Yep.
Yeah, in-ears. It's an investment. But the more you invest, the better it's gonna be. And
Yeah.
Yeah. Some of them are crazy.
now
though.
they get expensive.
Yeah.
They can be crazy.
Yeah. They were talking about some. They're like, yeah, we'll take you to the. What's he called? At Sam's
Audiologist?
Club? Audiologist.
Oh yeah,
I
get
thought-
like your ear
get molds,
canal.
yeah.
Yeah, I
molds,
was like, what? Like the ones I have now, I thought I was cool because
They go over your ear.
well, no, because like it's one like you from an app, you scan your ear.
Yeah.
and
Oh,
they
is
send
it
the
is it
custom
Waves?
molds. Yeah,
Or-
yeah,
okay,
Waves.
I've heard of them, but I've never used them before.
So Chris Brown got some, and then I ended up getting some,
Yeah, but what happens with yours?
dude. So, okay, so the little rubber pieces get stuck in my ear.
Oh yeah, I've had
And
that
like
happen
I'm over
before.
here like trying to like hit it out of my ear, but I finally we got some that like the
Foam tips.
foam tips.
Yeah.
Those
Yeah.
work great.
Nice.
So those don't get stuck in my ears.
With like worship, man, like it's so dangerous. People looking at gear because
man.
like with headphones, like obviously you need good in ears so you can hear what you're doing as you worship, but or like just play music in general. But dude, like we said, they get so expensive so quick, and then people get on forums or like I don't know if y'all are on any like pages on Facebook and stuff, but like I'm in a couple worship guitar groups because I love to play electric guitar, but I usually can't leading because it's hard to play lead guitar
Yeah.
and sing.
Yeah.
It's about dang near impossible for
Yeah.
me. But I'll get on there and man, people are just like they think they have to have like $500
Yeah.
pedals and $3,000 amps or guitars. I'm like, man, you really don't.
Yeah.
That's not going to change your heart for worship, and that's
Exactly.
not
Yeah.
going to change your talent either.
Exactly.
You can spend all the money in the world and still not know how to play the guitar.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Well, I mean, starting out at Southside, we used just little wedges. Like we didn't have any in-ears or
Yeah,
anything like
wedge
that.
monitors.
Although you're good, was just all we heard was the monitors. And so when I started going to Eastside, like I love
Game
in-ears.
changer.
And it helped a lot, but it took me a while to get used to it. Especially adding the click track in there and stuff
Click
like
track,
that.
yeah.
And I struggled with it because I'm listening, I'm trying to make sure I'm on beat, and the song's over, and I'm like, I don't even know if I worship to a single word of that, not let the song. And so, but that's just something that came with doing it more. So like, the more I got comfortable with it, I could focus more on the song.
Yeah.
But even still, with my ears, if it's a song that we know and that I know that we're gonna stay on tempo, I'll take my ears out just so I can hear. the audience.
I
Because
almost
that's
always leave one ear out
Yeah.
because, like, especially as like the worship leader, I like to be able to hear how people are responding, or like, you know, if you get to like, if people are really responding and really worshiping, I like to like, I'll back off. Like,
Yeah.
let
Yeah.
the congregation carry it. You know what I mean? But you can't do that if you just got that. You're
Right.
plugged into just what the band's doing. You know?
Well, you can
Yeah.
if you
They
have room mics. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which we just started implementing not too long ago.
Oh, yeah.
So we're getting there, but you know,
Yeah.
mainly you've been using it for live stream.
Yeah.
That way
so
they
you
can hear the
like,
audience reaction.
laughing.
Yeah.
Dude, so do y'all do multiple services at Eastside? Like
Not
on
right
Sunday
now.
mornings? Okay. So at Ridgeline, we were in this little bitty church that, like, when we first bought it, had like barely enough pews to fit 100 people, and that was like all the room could fit. We wound up upgrading to like, or switching to chairs, not really necessarily upgrading, so we could fit about 130 people, and we were running about 300 or 300 plus on a Sunday. So we had 2 services, and it's so funny to see the different people that would come to different services. When we first started that, the people that came to first service were like the people we were like, hey, will you please come to first service, because no one's in there right now.
Yeah.
So like, it's like, you know, your deacons and
Yeah.
stuff like that, or like a really plugged in family. So they would come and everybody would always be dead. Like, no one would laugh at Jimmy's jokes. No one would be worshiping when the worship team was going. And this is like 9:30 in the morning, so it's not even that early.
Right.
And then the 10, or I guess it's 9 a.m. And then the 10:30 service, everyone was all clapping and laughing and, you know, worshiping and everything. And then they flipped. And Jimmy would, our pastor Jimmy, he likes to make jokes to start off the sermon, then get into, you know, the meat of his message. First service, people would be dying laughing and like clapping, and, you know, they'd just be having such a good time with it. Second service, people are like just dead.
Really?
And so Jimmy would like tell a joke, and me and Kaylin sit up in the front, you know, the front chairs. And we would be the only people laughing to, like, you know, boost Jimmy's
Yeah.
confidence, and everybody
Yeah.
else would just be sitting there looking like, what is wrong with you
Well, that's
people?
funny.
Like,
That's good on y'all though.
Oh.
Everybody needs friends like Jake
Yeah.
and Caitlin.
I don't know. Have y'all ever like preached or like shared like your testimony in like youth group or anything like that?
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's weird how like a lot of how you do depends
Oh,
on
yeah.
how people respond.
Oh, yeah.
And like I've preached a couple times on Sunday mornings, and or like I'll try to tell a joke before Jimmy tells his joke before we start the worship set. And dude, if it bombs, it like crushes your confidence.
Yeah.
It's
so
hard to
bad.
see. It's
Yeah.
hard to come back from.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man.
That's funny. No, I mean, it makes me think of like teaching too. Like back when I was teaching, you know, how the class responded to me as a band director, you know, is so different. Like, okay, so that's how today is going to be,
Yeah.
you know, instead of like just getting on with it. But
Yeah.
that's funny.
When do y'all record y'all's podcast?
Whenever we have time,
Whenever
really.
you got time?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll do it. I try to like pick a day during the week, and I always tell them like, let's do it at 7:30 tonight, and then it winds up being like 8. I always have problems with my stuff, like especially the first few times we did it when I was getting all the kinks worked out. But like, it's always like we leave the church because we're usually at the church working on stuff or like, you know, painting or doing whatever. And then we'll go get food, and then like I'll be dirty. So I'm like, well, I'm at my house. Like I want to change clothes.
Yeah.
I want to be comfortable. And then by the time I've like gotten ready and got all the stuff set up, it's like an hour later, and then we record till wee hours in the morning, and
Yeah.
then Kaylin's mad at me because I didn't come to bed, and James's wife is mad at him because he didn't come home on time, and Cooper's single, so he doesn't care. But but just whenever we can, really, you know.
That's awesome.
Usually late nights.
Yeah.
So you're doing a couple episodes at a time, or
No,
trying
we
to
just
shoot
we
one?
talk way too much.
I gotcha.
And so you know, our podcast, like you guys are, you know, good dudes, and it's like Christian perspective and everything. We're all Christian guys in top 4, but we talk about our, you know, our Christian life and stuff like that, but at the same time we like some jokes that are a little edgy.
Sure.
And so sometimes people will say things I'm like, okay, that definitely cannot go on the podcast.
Right.
Yeah.
Or it'll lead us to something that like about like real life that we wouldn't want to share publicly.
Sure.
And it's like, okay, I got to cut that out. I got to cut that
Yeah.
out. Oops, sorry, I thought I knocked that over. So usually like a 2-hour podcast will wind up getting cut probably 30 minutes out of it. That stuff that's like, all right, somebody had to go to the bathroom. Or
Yeah.
somebody said
Sure.
this, and
Yeah.
all kinds of stuff like that. But we usually just do one a night.
Gotcha.
If we could get started at like 5, I would do 2. But man, man. It's
Yeah.
just so hard.
Yeah,
it's
days
tough.
when we do too. I mean, we'll do because we don't work on Fridays, you know.
Oh, yeah.
And so we'll do like 10 o'clock. Well, we'll do 10 o'clock, eat lunch, come back, do another one in the afternoon.
There
you go.
And it's exhausting.
It
Yes,
is.
it is.
Like there is definitely a difference in that second one than that first one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
This-
I mean, it takes a lot out of you for
Yeah.
whatever reason, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you need that break in between them too.
Oh, for sure.
Mhm.
Yeah, almost need a nap in between them, really.
yeah.
Do y'all? I don't remember from listening to episode where y'all talked about what podcasts you like, but is there ones that y'all have learned from like listening to different podcasts of like how they do things?
Kinda. I guess there's a lot of stuff that we like imitate.
Yeah.
There's a lot of our setup that we imitate
Yeah,
too.
yeah.
I mean, and just how we do some things, but I don't know that we haven't changed much.
Yeah.
yeah.
Because we'll be episode what, like 17, 18, somewhere in there, and so it's like we haven't gotten too far down the road of
Yeah.
like, you know, hey, let's reevaluate something. But
I like to listen to this one. It's Blank Check with Griffin and David, and like I'm a movie buff. I love watching movies, and they'll like do a deep dive on a.
Logan loves movies too.
Oh yeah, I know it. I know it from listening to y'all's top fives. It's hey, but you do like the best movie of all time, which is Hot Rod.
Dude.
So Hot Rod
Okay,
is
yeah.
the bomb. So, but I'll listen to Blank Check, and they will record like several episodes like per day, and they have like some episodes that are like 3 hours long.
Yeah.
I'm like, how do y'all do
How?
this? And they're like I'm a movie nerd, but they're like mega nerds.
Yeah.
And they will have done like hours and hours of research on top of watching, you know, like a 2-hour movie.
Yeah.
And then they'll talk about them all in one day. I'm like, man, I would be like,
They're
my
talking
brain
longer
would be
than the movie
shot.
is, like,
Exactly.
yeah.
They do that all the time, and they're like we're literally talking for 3 hours about an hour and 20-minute long movie. How are
That's
we even
funny.
doing this?
No, it's I could not do that.
Yeah.
I mean, that's like Rogan.
Oh
I mean,
yeah.
I don't know how he does it because that's insane.
I'll tell you how he does.
He'll do 3 a day. I mean, hey, love him or hate him, whatever you think about him. He'll do like 3 a
Oh,
day
yeah.
of 3 to 4 hour podcast, and then go like do a UFC fight. And it's like, how are
Yes.
you?
Yeah.
How do you even like talk after that? I don't understand.
Yeah.
Did y'all see? I just saw it today, and it may not be something y'all want to talk about on here. He had like a controversy today. Neil Young was saying he wants Spotify to pull his music off the platform if they're going to continue to have Joe Rogan on there because he's spreading vaccine misinformation. Is what it is. I'm like,
What?
I don't watch Joe Rogan a lot, but he, you know, when he's talked about vaccines and you know everything with COVID, obviously everyone's got their take on it, and there's so much information, and I don't know. I think it's kind of silly to label something as misinformation
Yeah.
if it's just
Well, that's-
if it's something that's just different than the main narrative
Yeah.
that everyone else is
Right.
saying. You know,
Well-
if he shares his experience, is that really
Okay, well, I could be on here and be like, okay, well, this table is bright pink, and people can get mad at me about that, but that's just what I think, you know?
Yeah.
I'm not a
Yeah.
news source.
Yeah.
I'm
Exactly.
not, you know,
Yeah.
you don't have to
And
agree with
and
me.
he's said that multiple times.
Yeah. Mhm.
He's like, I do a podcast.
Yeah.
Yes, it is almost 10 times more listened to than any news network out there. But still, it is a podcast that he puts on, that he pays for to do and everything. Now, yes, Spotify paid him to like come over there, but then once they paid him, it wasn't a contract.
Yeah.
They just
Yeah.
paid him to move. That was it. So it's like, at this point, he's doing this all out of his own pocket, just like we are.
And it's
Yeah.
not like Spotify's
Yeah.
like publishing it. I mean,
No.
they're having it shared on their platform,
Yeah.
but it's like somebody can be posting stuff on YouTube that's just straight up lies
Yeah.
or fiction, and
Yeah.
that's not a problem. But I don't know. I think that's kind of silly. Whenever
is.
Yeah.
the cancel culture of stuff it's wild, man.
It is.
Yes.
It
But
is.
yeah, it's crazy. So what other podcasts do you listen to? What do you like? What do you like? What are you trying to imitate?
My favorite ones are normally movie podcasts because like I really do love to watch movies. I think I talked about it on one of the episodes of Top 4, but I wrote down all the movies I watched last year, and I watched like
Oh gosh.
I watched like 78 movies last year.
Wow.
And I was making a list at the same time of all the movies I want to watch this year. And dude, I've got like 100 something movies I'm like trying to watch, and I don't know if it's gonna happen.
How do you
Now, is that
find
new
these
movies?
No,
Or is that
no.
rewatching movies?
Some of it's rewatching because, like, you know, if, with like Marvel or
Sure.
something like that, like you kind of got to get caught up, or like
Yeah.
you know, watching the series and stuff like that to remember what's going on if a new season releases. But most of it's movies that like people have recommended, or like I've listened to on Blank Check or another podcast. And I'm like, I really want to watch that. Sounds great, and I've been turned on to a lot of really, really great movies that way. One of the ones I watched recently, y'all may have seen. It's only a couple years old. Man, what is it? It's got the guy that plays Hawkeye, Jeremy Renner, and it's got Scarlet Witch, whatever her name is. But he's like a game and fish commissioner in like Colorado, and there's like a murder that happens on an Indian reserve or reservation, and they go to investigate it. And it was a crazy movie. I can't remember what it was called. Wind River. I watched it the other day, and it was
Okay.
great.
Is it-
And it was something
what's
that got
it on?
recommended me. It was on Netflix. I don't know if it still
I
is.
think I
though.
might have seen it on Netflix.
It was great, dude. It was kind of slow, and it was, you know, like a thriller because it's
Yeah.
like a murder mystery, but it was
Yeah.
great. I loved it. And I probably would have never seen it or even heard of it because, you know, it came out a few years
Yeah.
ago and it wasn't on my radar. But so many movies and so many, like, with Blank Check being directors, I find directors that I wind up loving their
Liking
stuff.
their stuff?
Yeah.
I think it's funny when, like, every now and then I'll pick up and I'm like, this seems really close to this other movie. I wonder if and it's like, oh, the directors are the same.
Yeah.
Same guy. Okay, no wonder they did this, you know.
Yeah. So when you watch a movie, like, is it like I sit down and watch it start to finish till it's over, or do you just like have a movie playing every night and you watch a little bit of it? And a little bit of it?
The way I did it for the longest time, this is why I got to watch so many movies, is I was working at like an office job, and they didn't really have any rules about watching stuff. They wound up implementing them probably because of me later on. But I would just sit there and watch movies all day at work as I did. Like my job, I didn't have to think about it. It wasn't very challenging.
Yeah.
So I would kind of go on autopilot and just be watching as I did my work. And I always got my work done. So I never got, you know, any complaints or anything like that. And I didn't have to answer phones or anything. And so I would just watch movie after movie after movie. And I don't know, I got to watch a ton that way. But I'll take breaks. Like I started rewatching the Star Wars franchise for like the millionth time just like last week, and so I'm on my fourth sit-in of watching the Phantom Menace now, the episode 1. As I'll normally do is like I do laundry or chores around the house and stuff
Yeah.
like
I
that
gotcha.
now.
That's cool.
See, that's what I do with YouTube all day. Is I
Yeah.
work, like, you know, dual monitor, 3 monitors. One of them has YouTube going, and whatever it is, you know, whether it's somebody's podcast or, you know, just music, or even a like tutorial on how to
Yeah.
do something.
If it's a movie that I'm like really interested in, or one that like I like to watch movies that make you think and stuff like that, you know, like Transformers. No, I'm
Yeah,
kidding.
definitely. For sure. Yeah. I really got to think about how they did that.
Dude, wait, Optimus Prime is who? But I'll watch movies that, you know, make you think a little bit. And so if I'm watching something like that, I'll sit down and like have the like cinema experience. Me and my wife will like sit on the couch and eat popcorn. We don't do that enough, but we'll do that, or she'll get bored and like go do something else. She's like, this movie doesn't make any sense. But most of the time, if it's a fun movie, Marvel or just action or something like that, I'll just put it on and do other stuff. Like you said, I probably started doing it because of like The Office in college.
Yeah.
Because you can't be a college student and not watch The Office like 24/7.
You can.
You can?
You definitely
You
can.
don't like The Office?
You know, man, it's one of those that's like, they can feel the brain cells dying as you watch it. And I never could get into it. I love the highlights.
Oh, yeah,
I
they're so
love all the little snippets and the funny, like the highlight stuff are
they're
great.
They're better than the show sometimes.
But yes,
so.
exactly. Watching the whole show start to finish, you're like, are we doing this again?
Dude,
This is the same thing again? Okay,
I've
great.
watched it through probably, like, I'm not even exaggerating, probably 6 or 7 times, like fully all the way through. And each time I watch it through, I'm still finding things that I haven't noticed
Gosh.
before.
I saw a video the other day. There's one episode like way into like season 5 or 6 where Michael is sorting the trash into whites and colors
Yeah.
like laundry.
Yeah.
And then it showed from like season 2, they have all the recycle bins on the wall and they're separated whites and colors. So they literally had set up that joke for like
Oh my
6
gosh.
years.
Oh my
I'm like,
goodness.
how do you keep track
See,
of
that's
that?
the thing about shows like that, and like the thing that I think like a show like New Girl. Do you watch New Girl?
Yes.
So-
Is that the one? Yeah. Me and Kaylin, we got the flu a while back, and we watched
Yeah.
that the whole time we
Yeah.
were sick. It was great.
And so, I mean, shows like that, like just the writing and the intelligence that you have to have those kind of jokes and
Yeah.
to think of those things, like it's insane. Like I would
And
never be
following
able to.
that line
Yeah.
all the way
Yeah.
through. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
No, Parks and Rec. I don't watch Parks and Rec either.
No Parks and Rec.
But again,
I don't actually-
I love the highlight reels.
Yeah. Mhm.
I don't care about watching the full show.
I actually don't like Parks and Rec that much. I just do that when people say they don't like The Office.
Yeah,
So-
yeah. So I had a friend in college who, while he was practicing, like he played trombone, and he would leave the office on so that he knew how long he had practiced.
Wow.
He would be like, because they're like, he's like 30-minute episodes. If I do 4 episodes, you know, he goes, I know exactly how long I
Man.
did.
Yeah.
I wish I had that kind of determination on playing guitar. I would be so much better if I
Yeah.
practiced like that.
Yeah, man.
But could you practice while watching The
Oh,
Office?
heck
I mean,
no. No way.
Did you hear about? This is totally off topic, but did you hear about I thought about it because I saw my hand. That's a different story. Live Church is doing the metaverse.
Really? I have not heard about that.
Yeah, tell them about it.
I love this that you're like, did you hear about this? I didn't either till 4 hours ago. But
I
yeah.
know. Well, I want you to talk about it. 'Cause
Okay,
I think
so-
it's so crazy.
Yeah, I haven't heard about this.
So obviously the metaverse is coming in, and I guess they were like, let's just jump on it. So they built a life church in the metaverse,
okay.
and had the grand opening this weekend.
You know, that's going to be weird when like there's people with like anime people as their avatars coming to church on Sunday mornings and stuff like
Well,
that.
I'm like,
it's got to be
So the cool thing is they've built like the screens, so you're literally watching their live stream.
This is so
as
meta.
it's playing. It's
Yeah.
insane. The thing that I don't get is like, it's still so uncontrolled in such a free world that like you're only opening doors for people to like come and be like, oh, I can blow this church up, or I can come in and just shoot all these people
Yeah.
in the metaverse, like, or just start like smashing bottles, all kinds of stuff.
That
It's
is
on their
so
website. Go to their
strange.
website. It is hilarious.
Wow.
But it looks like they're building. It's got
Well-
all their branding on it. It had to have taken like a long time to do.
Yeah, and not to like get political or anything, but that's inviting people to you know like kind of attack your church.
Yeah.
You know, if Pastor Craig says so, is it Craig or Greg Groeschel?
Craig.
Craig.
It is Craig. Okay, so you know if he says something that some group doesn't like, that's just another outlet for them to try to sabotage some
Yeah.
people's church going experience. So I don't know, man. That's an
But still, I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't get the whole metaverse thing.
No.
I've never done it, so I don't know.
yeah.
But like, I just couldn't imagine sitting on your couch but acting like you're in that
Very
experience.
strange. Yeah.
And now I get like, hey, in the world of COVID and all that, you know, everybody's got to try something. And you know, if that's what makes you feel, you know,
Yeah.
at home or gives you company or whatever, great. But
Man.
I don't know that I could do it.
What would throw me off is just seeing like all the other avatars. Like
Yeah, that's
that
what
would.
it'd be so distracting.
Yeah.
Because it can be anything.
Yeah,
Yeah,
You can be a
exactly.
horse.
yeah.
You can be a dog. You can be whatever you want to.
Apache
And
helicopter.
yeah, and just walk in there.
Fly
yeah,
right in there. That's
like
wild.
what? I wonder what the parking lot looked like.
Yeah.
You know,
All the
if
cars.
you can build whatever you want to, what people are like
Oh my
pulling
gosh.
up to in there.
Yeah, that is very strange. I haven't heard that at all. But
Yeah.
man, I mean, props to it. Hopefully, it helps a lot more people hear
Hey,
the word.
I mean,
you know?
that's awesome if some random person's like, okay, I've got to go check this out. This is
So
interesting.
what's
You
your
know,
testimony?
You're sitting in church
Yes.
in the metaverse. And you're like, I
Well,
really do need to change my avatar. I
I
don't
was
think this
playing
is church
this
appropriate."
boxing
I hope they
game.
keep going, and they're like, we're gonna start having small groups and home groups.
Yeah,
and like,
yeah.
You know, we're gonna do D groups. You can go have your D group in the metaverse, and you're all like meeting up, and you're just standing outside the church,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
you have nowhere else to go.
Yeah, so strange.
Oh man, but like people are like buying land in the metaverse, but I don't understand.
We're
and-
so close to the Ready Player One universe at this
Yes.
point. You
Oh,
know?
absolutely.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like the problem is all these worlds are like chat rooms. You can come and go and leave them and go in different ones if you want to. So it's one of those. I heard a thing about the other day, and they were trying to figure out there's going to have to come a time where like your avatar or your whatever earns that money or whatever. Because right now, once you leave that world, you're starting over.
Oh, okay.
So you can't take things with
don't
you when
know-
you go.
I don't know anything about the metaverse other than that it's a thing. Like
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
saw like
Right.
the Facebook video where they announced what it is, but
Yeah.
I don't I haven't paid attention to it because I'm like, well, I don't think that's probably for me.
And I don't have
So-
VR stuff, so it's
Yeah.
like, but the Life Church thing was saying like you could do it on your phone,
Yeah, oh yeah.
and so you can go and just like look around, like be looking around with your phone. It's
Man.
weird.
Dude.
I'll tell you what, that's going to be, since I'm in the middle of a church renovation right now, that's going to be the easiest church in the world to renovate. I don't like the
I'm
color
sure.
of these walls. No,
Damn.
they're
Yeah,
different.
yeah.
Anybody that knows what they're doing could do it,
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
unless you figure out a way to lock it. I guess I don't know how that works, but I'm assuming like that's what always gets me is there's always a better programmer. There's always a better
Yes.
hacker. Mm-hmm. You know, and it's like it wouldn't take much for somebody to go in there and like totally make it bad.
Draw
Yeah.
something bad on the walls.
Yeah,
Yeah.
or just burn it down, like
Possibilities are
take it
endless.
away. Yeah.
Dangerous, man. Yeah. That's
Can you
wild,
imagine?
though. Super
So you're not
wild.
going to join the metaverse?
Probably not. Maybe someday.
But just think about it. You're laying in bed, your alarm goes off. You have your little headset thing, you plug it on, and boom, you're in church. Church is over.
I don't know. I like being at church, though, you know? I
Yeah.
like seeing all the people. I like shaking hands. Yeah. So,
I do, but the 12 weeks when we were gone because of COVID, I do get that would have
Yeah.
been nice to be like, okay, here, I'm going to put this on so I can still see and talk to everybody.
Yeah.
Because you can't talk to other people. Once
And
you
when
come
you're
into
quarantined
proximity,
and stuff, there would definitely
Yeah.
be benefits to that. So.
I can see it, but
Man,
I don't
that's
know
just
that I could
crazy
do it
because
every
like
day.
that's what the future's going to.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It's weird.
Yeah.
Like people are going to be so invested in their fake life and do nothing with their real life.
Yeah, like you said, Ready Player One.
Yeah.
Well,
Have you seen that movie?
Yes, I have.
Okay,
I
good.
have. I have.
That's better.
That's a really good movie, actually. Like,
Yeah.
When I first watched it, I was like, "That's a movie about a video game." And I was like, about the end of it, I was like, "Oh my gosh!" Like,
Or
this
even
is
the new one,
fantastic.
Blue Shirt Guy.
Oh, yeah.
Isn't that what's
Free,
called?
free guy?
Free
With
Guy.
Ryan
Free
Reynolds?
Guy,
I
yeah.
haven't seen that one yet.
I haven't seen it either, but it looks
Oh,
really good.
it's good. It's
Yeah.
very, very good.
So I've got
yeah.
a funny story about Ready Player One. Actually, it was like right when it first got released on streaming. We were at my pastor's house, just hanging out. It was my buddy. I've got my two best friends are named Jacob, which is kind of strange because I'm also named Jacob. But it was one of the Jacob's birthdays.
His nickname's Jacob.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Is your name Logan Jacob?
Yeah.
Or-
No, different side story.
Oh, okay.
You
gotcha.
met Jacob.
Yeah,
You met Jacob at United.
United.
The other guy that looks just like him. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I got you.
Yeah. Anyways, you go ahead.
Well, it was one of the Jacob's birthdays, and we'd like been hanging out. We'd been swimming and stuff, and we all kind of got tired. So like, let's go inside and like watch a movie. And so we go inside. We turn on Ready Player One, and Jacob, and my buddy Hayden were like, "We're not watching this. This movie looks dumb," and they leave. And they went and got on the four-wheelers at that Jacob's house and were riding them around, but they didn't ask their parents or nothing. And Hayden had never driven a ATV or
Oh,
like
no.
a UTV before, and they were running all around. And I'm gonna knock this water over, but they're running all around. And there's this little hill in this pasture they were driving through, and Hayden was driving for the first time in his life. And they were in like a razor, so it's him and my buddy Jacob, and then the other Jacob's on a four-wheeler. And he hits this ramp and turns his wheels in the air, not thinking about it. And so when he lands, you know, that
Yeah.
forward momentum, it pulls those wheels
Yeah.
out from under him. And so they flip, and Hayden, in his infinite wisdom, was like, I'm going to catch this UTV. And sticks his arm out the window and snapped his arm like in half. And then they didn't have their phones on him or nothing, so they like called, or they couldn't call us or nothing. So Jake, one of the Jakes, runs like 2 miles back to the house we were at to tell us what had happened. And the whole time we don't know anything's going on.
Yeah.
We're just watching this movie. The movie gets started. We're like, that was really good. I wonder where the boys are. And then he comes in running, crying, like blood on him from Hayden's arm, and is like, we wrecked and
He
Hayden's
left
hurt."
him out there?
Well, the other Jake was with him. But
Oh, okay.
I think they had
I'd be like, geez.
yeah, it was so dumb. But we're like, you guys should have just stayed and watched the movie. No one would have wrecked a thing or broke
You
their
know
arm or
what?
nothing.
That's what you get.
Yeah. Watch the movie next time. Come on.
Exactly. And it was a good movie. You know, if we're watching
Gosh.
something lame,
Yeah.
you know, if we're watching Captain Marvel, we can, you know, go ride four wheelers. But
Oh,
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you.
That's
what?
funny.
No, I agree. Did you
Oh,
Did you say that because you really didn't like Captain Marvel?
Yeah, I'm not a big fan.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
No, I agree.
I was like,
Did
did I
you?
just
Did
offend
you watch it or
Logan?
something?
I agree. No,
Okay.
I 1,000% agree.
Okay, gotcha. I thought I offended you. Like, yeah,
No.
it's just my favorite movie or something. I was
No.
like, oh, dang, my bad, Logan.
No, like I told you, me and Malin were watching through them.
Yeah.
And so like that was the second one.
Yeah, like in the
chronologically.
timeline. Yeah.
And so she was like, "Do we have to watch this?" I'm like, I mean,
shouldn't have.
yes.
You should have just left that one.
It's just a piece. It's
Yeah.
It's just
do
a
it
piece.
once,
But she was
figure it
she was
out, move on.
That was
Yeah.
boring. I was like, I know.
Yeah, it
women
was.
superheroes.
I
What are you gonna do?
Let's not. Okay, because they get.
You know what? Somebody needs to say it. No, I'm not gonna make that joke. Never mind. That'd be one I'd have to cut out on my podcast. So I definitely get cut on here.
I want to know.
I'll tell y'all
That's
afterwards.
funny.
That's funny.
So what else? So other than movie podcasts, do you have any that you listen to consistently?
There are some. I used to, when I first started. This is gonna make me sound like a crazy person. I did like the white girl thing of like only listening to true crime podcasts
gosh.
all the time. So Parcasts. Serial killers, dude. I like binged that during college. I'd sit there and listen, and it's like the TikTok meme. You know, her arms were cut off, her legs were cut off, her eyeballs were plucked out. That's what I was listening to all the time.
Yeah.
And then I was like, you know, this probably is not very good
Yeah.
for my mental
Just
health.
walking down, like
Yeah,
walking
just
through,
vibe and go
strolling
to
through
accounting or
campus, and
whatever.
it's like,
So what are you listening to? You don't want to know.
you
you
don't
know?
want to know.
But I'd listen to that stuff, or man, I really don't know. I have to look to know for sure.
Yeah.
But mainly, like now, I listen to my podcast because I have to record it and edit it all the
Yeah.
time. And I listen to you guys a lot, and then Blank
That's
Check.
interesting. Do you listen to ours?
Dude, so
Oh,
honestly, I don't listen to him start to finish.
I don't either. I'll skim
can't-
every now and then, or if like I'm just
don't-
like I wonder every now and then I'll go back and listen to one now.
I want to make a clips channel or like
Yeah.
a TikTok page for all of our funny bits.
Yeah.
But then I'm like, man, I have to listen to
It's
this whole
so
thing.
much time.
No way.
Even finding the snippets
yeah,
for
'cause
the
you
we
do-
started doing the
Yes.
snippets at the beginning, and even that is like I'll scrub through and I'll be like, okay, what do we talk about? Okay, just scrub through a little bit more. Like, no,
Do you guys
scrub through and like no.
Do y'all upload to like SoundCloud and use that as like your RSS feed?
We
or-
use Spreaker
Oh, I don't even know
is the
that
one we use. Yeah, it's like Anchor kind of thing.
Okay.
But it gives, yeah, good job. You don't have any idea about this.
James and Coop would have no
We
idea
use
too.
microphones.
We use these microphones and talk, and then I
we use
leave,
a
and Aaron
camera.
makes it go live.
Anytime I have to do something I have to pay for, I'm like, hey, just send me this money. Y'all
Yeah.
don't need to know what it's for.
I
nothing.
click share.
Yeah. Yeah, Logan does a great job of sharing on Facebook,
Yep.
and that's about where we're at.
Cooper and James don't even have Facebook. They don't even have social media, so I'm just plugging it myself. Like,
No, yeah, so yeah, we do Spreaker in it, but because it gives, I looked over a bunch of them, and it gives the best statistics. So like you can really graph and chart everything out.
That's
and see,
what's
so
hard about
it's really nice.
SoundCloud. But I'll try to do the same thing of skim through because they want
Yeah.
to like show like a preview, so somebody taps on it to see if they want to listen to it.
Yeah.
And dude, it's so hard to find
Because those
stuff.
on Facebook, that first 3 seconds, that's what you got to get. That hook is what you've got to do, and so it's crazy because a view on Facebook is 3 seconds. So if you can capture somebody's attention for that long, odds are you can keep them. But
Yeah.
you know
It
that
is-
first 3 seconds is
Man, it's upsetting sometimes looking at that like
Yeah.
viewership graph. Boom! Oh, dang, that feels bad.
You're like, and nobody stayed at the end.
Yep.
Yeah.
Or you like that one
There'll
person?
be, there'll be
that's
that
like-
one little bump somewhere. It's like someone fast forward and then still decided not
Yes.
to listen to the rest
Yes.
of it.
Yeah, like that's definitely my mom.
Yeah,
but
definitely.
Whatever.
That's so funny. I'm glad I'm not the only one though. So
So
makes me
where
feel
all do you
better.
upload to?
Right now we're just on. I upload to SoundCloud, and then from SoundCloud it goes to Spotify and to Facebook. And just this week I figured out Facebook has
Lids are too hard for
podcasts.
Logan people, I guess. We had to
They're too
get
distracting,
rid of
and I
it.
wanted to fit in with y'all. Sorry.
But Facebook has podcasts now too. So ours is like uploaded as a podcast on Facebook. I was like,
Yeah,
I didn't,
yeah.
who listens to
As a playlist, yeah.
Yeah, so I was
Yeah.
like, well, that's cool. So, and
Yeah.
now we're starting to do video. Video helps a lot with engagement.
Yeah.
I know that from doing like youth ministry. When COVID shut us down, we didn't like try to live stream youth services. Like Kaylin, my wife, does the music, and then we have a couple of kids in the youth band that will play with us and stuff like that, or lead every once in a while. But I was like, I don't want it to feel like just me talking like I would on a Wednesday. I wanted it
Yeah.
to be more engaging. So I made I would write out a sermon and then strip it down to like a 6 to 8 minute video where I'm like in weird places or like have props that I can use to like illustrate my point
Yeah.
and stuff like that. And it's so much work to do, but it was so fun to make.
Yeah.
And having a video versus just uploading me talking to a camera, having something engaging versus just me talking. So much more engagement. One time we did like a Hot Ones challenge. Me and my little brother did. I talked about the 9 plagues of Egypt, and so I got 9 increasingly hot sauces that we did together. And dude,
funny.
it was so bad. The last one we mixed all the hot sauces together, and it was horrible.
Oh, I bet.
It tasted so bad.
Yeah.
But now I've got like a really good heat tolerance, so we're gonna revisit it one day and make it way worse than it was the first time. So
Oh man!
That's,
All right, so just to keep
just
looking
good.
at the conversation even longer, what editing stuff do you use? See you later.
really, so I've got like my MacBook that I use for church, and so I just use GarageBand.
Yeah.
I have a free version of. Oh man, I don't remember what it's called. I've got a free version of Ableton Live that I don't know how to use whatsoever, and then
Logan doesn't either.
I don't know what the other one's
Dude,
called.
quit hating on me. I'm trying, okay?
Oh, we're trying to teach you. We're getting there. Are you getting there? It's all right.
It's
Make fun of
okay.
me.
I really don't know what I'm talking about. I just know some of the jargon to make me look
So
smarter.
for your video though, you use iMovie.
I use iMovie,
Yeah.
and there's definitely things I would like to use like oh man, what's it called? Premiere. Like I know that would be better, and like I need to learn some like stuff with After Effects and stuff like that. 'Cause
After
it-
Effects is hard.
Yeah, it would
After
help me
Effects
so
is
much.
hard.
I make graphics and stuff for church, or I'll do promotions. Like when we have like our own church camp we hosted, and I made this promo video for it last year, and I was like, man, this would be so much better and so much higher quality if I would just buy something like that.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I just roll with what I got.
You gotta start somewhere. I mean, everybody's gotta start somewhere.
Yeah.
I mean, I did it for a long time. I made a bunch of stuff on iMovie.
Yeah.
And then finally I was just like, okay, this will not do what I want it to do anymore.
Yeah.
Let's
Man,
just
I've
something
tried
else.
to do like subtitles and stuff. Subtitles on iMovie is horrible. It's like
anything.
it takes so long to do.
Because you can only have like what 3 layers on there. Yeah.
It's not fun at all.
Like even just this podcast, I'll have like 6-7 layers. That's just, I mean, to get everything in.
Yeah, it's hard. But yeah, I don't really know. YouTube is your best friend. If you ever want to start
Absolutely.
something like this,
Yeah.
YouTube it. Or if you know somebody like, Aaron, or you know somebody that does something that you want to do, ask them because they'll help you out a ton.
Yeah. I had a professor in college who, after I graduated, found out that like I was doing this and the stuff at the church, and he was like, "Hey, will you come and teach my like class?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure." So I did 3 classes for their music technologies, and it was like how to do basically all this stuff. And I was
Nice.
like, "So here's how you do it." Now I had to think back, and I was like, "Okay, if I have no money." All I have is access to this, like the school stuff. Well, how did I do all this stuff? Like, yeah, it's crazy.
Whenever I first started working at the church, like our pastor, he's like, he's very artistic. Like he is like a wizard when it comes to like. One year we did like a trunk or treat, and he threw together like a cave out of cardboard and like 15 minutes flat with spray paint and cardboard, and it looked legit. I was like, "How did you just do that?" He's like, "I don't know. I just know how to do it." He's really good at making graphics and stuff for church, or like doing like he even knows After Effects and stuff like that. And so when I was first starting, I was like, "Hey, I want to know how to do this stuff. Can you like help me out?" He's like, "Yeah." So he gets on there and he's like, "So here's how you do this, and this is how you do this, and then that's how you do that." And I'm like, none of that made any
Yeah.
sense to me whatsoever.
Yeah.
So I
Is that how you felt with Ableton the other
A
day?
little bit.
I was teaching him how to building tracks on Ableton.
Oh yeah.
Well, especially
was
with
like-
the songs
it's
that you
crazy.
have to have like switch time.
Oh yeah, time signature changes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a
Oh,
little difficult.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. There's
So,
a lot of those.
Do you remember when we did? I played guitar for one of y'all's events last
Yeah.
year, and remember the third set, we all came back out there,
Yeah.
and we were starting off.
Yeah.
We were doing Glorious Day.
Glorious
and-
Day remix.
Yes, so it was like super like electronic
Super
and
track
Yeah.
driven.
yes, and the track didn't work.
Yeah.
And it had like all these like syncopated like
Yeah.
hits and stuff that we were supposed to do, and we just played it, and it
Yeah.
was crazy that it went at all, but it actually
Yes.
went really
It went-
well.
It was
considering
like
everything.
one of my favorite parts of the whole night,
Yeah,
just
for
because
sure.
And no one had any. If you
Exactly.
weren't on stage or in the tech booth,
Dude,
no one had
exactly.
any idea
there was a
what
solid
happened.
15 seconds of like pure fear.
Oh.
Like I think everybody
Yeah.
during the
Yeah.
events is like, "Oh my gosh, what is happening right now?" But
Yeah.
it
My
worked,
favorite is
man.
like Jacob starts praying, and like he's praying, and he turns around and makes eye contact with me, and was like, "I'm gonna keep praying," and then keeps going.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, great, here
Man.
we go.
But it went really, really well. But
Yeah.
it's the more technology, the more problems.
That's right.
But you can make
That's
stuff
true.
really,
Yeah.
really professional. So
Yeah.
it's cool. It's like I guess it's like a double-edged sword.
It is. It's one of those. To me, technology works great when you buy everything that you need at the
Yes.
same time to work together.
when you try to like mishmash stuff.
Yes, when
Mm-hmm.
it's like, well, we bought this 2 years ago, and this is brand new, and that's about 10 years old.
Yeah.
we're gonna make them work together.
Yeah.
Which, welcome to the church world. That's everything that
Yes,
we do is
yes.
piece and part together, and
Yeah.
yeah.
And then when it messes up, it's so much more complicated.
Yeah, because you're having to, okay, let's unplug this one. Does it
Yeah.
work without this? Okay, no, let's work with this one. Does it work with, nope, okay, this one. Let's try this one.
The other night we had a band practice, and we were trying to. It should have been as easy as plugging in 3 things. We were adding a second acoustic line, and so our sound guy Chris is up in the booth. I'm like, "What port you want me to plug into?" He's like, "Plug into this one." Okay, run the cord to the DI box, plug in the instrument cable to my buddy's guitar, and he starts playing, and like nothing happens. And it took like 30 minutes of troubleshooting, and like it was like the simplest thing in the world. Like it was, I think, it was like seriously as simple as like changing a cable or something like that. But it took so long to figure
Yeah.
out, just because we're messing with stuff
Yeah.
that's all
Yeah.
mishmashed together
See,
in a way.
that's one of my favorite things is, you know, I always talk about somebody 10 years ago never expected anyone else to have to redo this.
Yes, exactly.
But the funny thing is, there's a lot of stuff that I've done that somebody 10 years from
Yeah.
now is going to go,
Yeah.
dude, what was this guy doing?
yeah,
And I'm going to be like, sorry, hey, I'm out, man.
Yeah.
that's what
I did what I had to do.
Yeah.
With this-
it worked for this long.
Yeah.
And don't ask questions.
just pray that it keeps going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With the whole church remodel, like we bought another church in our town. They sold their campus, but they're still operating as a church. They're just doing stuff different now. And we were outgrowing our place, so we bought theirs. And as we've been fixing stuff, there's a lot of things like that. And
Yeah.
our pastor's like, man, I hate churches when they build stuff because they just don't do it right. And
Yeah.
like we're just as guilty as anybody
Yeah.
else.
Oh,
now
yeah.
because
As we're cutting corners at the same time. Yeah.
It's like, well, they should have cut corners the way we cut corners.
Yeah.
So, oh man.
Yeah.
But
That's funny.
Well, how much?
All right,
we
let's
got
see.
time to do some,
Yeah. All right. We
some
got
pod
about,
decks.
we got about 8 minutes, 9 minutes left.
okay.
Pod decks.
So let's do. I love these things. So we're gonna do the icebreakers one. Let's do
Okay. There you
Icebreaker.
go. Nice.
that. Icebreaker. There you go.
Some good Foley work right there.
Huh?
You know
Oh, this
Foley?
is.
What?
Foley?
Who's that?
I don't know who it is. It's like sounds and movies and stuff. They're
Oh, yeah, where they
like,
do it over-
Russell Lee's
Yeah.
in a
Those
box and stuff.
videos
Yeah.
They're so
blow
cool.
my mind.
People are so creative.
Have you ever heard
Yeah.
of, like thought in a movie or something? Been like, I wonder what that
Yes.
really
Yes.
is. Yeah.
Especially after like watching something like that. Like
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't know if y'all have seen like Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs, which is like one of my
Yes.
favorite movies. But like watching them do like they like use like wet socks on like a
Yep.
Yeah.
board to make like the hamburgers falling from the sky. It's
Yeah.
like, man, who
Yeah.
they're really good at
Yeah.
it.
So if you like that stuff, you should get into watch like percussion stuff.
oh yeah,
Like random percussion stuff, because I mean, like
Dude.
a lion's roar is a tom with a
Yeah.
rope through it that you pull a wet cloth over, and it goes
Really?
roar. It's so cool.
There's
Yeah.
some guys on TikTok that I'll see do it. They'll do like a whole scene's sound effects from a movie with a snare drum and like a couple
Yes.
different sticks, like just rubbing it or scratching it and stuff. I'm like,
And you
man,
can't tell the difference.
No, it's crazy.
Oh. All right, so let's see. First one. Before making a phone call, do you ever rehearse what you're going to say? All the time. Almost every
Yeah,
phone call.
definitely.
I at least start. I'm like, where am I going with this? Okay, here, let's. Especially if I'm like, I hate calling restaurants
Oh yeah.
Okay.
and things
yeah.
like that. So I
Yeah.
definitely have to go, okay,
Yeah.
I just need a table for 6. I just need a table for
Yeah.
6. Like,
I'm anytime it's
And I still mess it up.
anytime it's something.
don't laugh. Like, you actually pick somewhere to go. Oh, man. Calling everybody out tonight.
Yeah.
Anytime it's something important, like if I'm like booking reservations or
Yeah.
like doing something for like church camps or something like that, then I'm like, okay, what do I need to say to sound as professional and not like a
Oh,
20-year-old as possible?
Yeah.
Especially
Oh,
like
that's true.
My first year doing youth ministry, I had like, I I was 19 years old, and I'm like trying to do like an adult job, you
Yeah.
know, taking care of all these teenagers and stuff as a teenager, and I'm
Yeah.
like, how can I make my voice sound deeper? you
Yeah.
know, it was bad, but yeah, I definitely do that.
Logan?
Oh, yeah, for sure. But like I said, I still mess it up.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so here's
Remind me to tell you about this later.
a kind of a deeper one, but it's kind of odd at the same time. How do you know when you're being completely authentic? And when did you last feel that way? So how do you know when you're being completely authentic?
So I don't know how we don't know each other very well yet, and we don't know each other super duper
Yeah.
well. We've known each other for a long time.
Yeah.
I'm a crier, like
Yeah.
bad.
Oh,
So
wow.
like especially like doing youth ministry, anytime like I'm genuinely talking about like the love Jesus has for us, I like burst out in tears. So I'm like, yep, it hits me like right in the gut, and it's like immediately the waterworks come on. So
Yeah.
I'll be doing an altar call or something at the church, and then I'll just like immediately start crying, and all the kids are like, "What are you crying about? You haven't even said anything yet." I'm like, "Well, I'm just thinking about how Jesus is awesome, man."
Yeah.
It's bad. It's
Yeah.
bad. So I cry. That's how I know.
See, it takes a lot for me to cry. Like,
Lucky.
Yeah.
Takes nothing for me to cry.
like it's like, I mean, it's different. Like if I'm doing it, like if I'm worshiping or something, like I'm more apt to shed some tears then.
Yeah.
But if it's something that's like legit sad or something like that, like
Yeah.
I do everything else but cry. Not because I don't want to, but just that's not what happens.
Yeah.
For some reason. Man, being authentic.
But just being
wow.
authentic, not necessarily crying.
Yeah, that's just my way.
Like for me, I
So
can
you're not
tell.
being authentic right now? I want you to
no.
try.
I am.
This
I'm
podcast.
putting on a face
Talk
right
about
now.
Jesus' love right now.
Well, John 3:16 says, "For God so loved the world."
Don't do that to me,
Dude,
man.
sometimes it's been like that, and then everybody starts laughing at me. I'm like, man, you guys are the worst. Like, well, at least I can drive a car, 14-year-old, you know?
Yeah.
That's kind of a difficult question, though.
It is. Man.
For me, if I'm not being authentic, my back starts hurting. And as weird as it is, my back will start hurting. Like, and it's because you're like trying to stand in a different way or like do something you're not.
Oh, your body language is different?
Your body language is different. Trying to be something it's
Yeah.
not. So I realize my back will start hurting,
Okay.
and that's why I'm being like not authentic.
That's strange.
That makes sense,
but,
though. I thought you
yeah.
were like, my foot starts itching. Like,
My left eye twitches. I don't know.
Yeah. You got a good hand in this poker game? Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
No.
You got a bad tell, huh?
yeah.
No.
That's funny.
No,
Well, yes, it does. Only because I've sat in a wooden chair all day, and now we're sitting here. Like, but no, like a lot of people might say, like their laugh is different, or like something like that.
yeah. I definitely work in retail at Lowe's for 4 years. I definitely got a good fake laugh.
Oh,
And
yeah.
So, but that just kind of happens naturally now. But I do know when I'm like legit laughing.
Yeah. I'm a laugher, too. So, like, I'll just, like, bust up and, like, not be able to
Yeah.
control myself. So, I'm kind of like an empath. So, my emotions will get the best of me.
Yeah.
So, I'll just.
I didn't think about it. I should
keep
turn the
going.
mic the other way so that they could, our laughter, our audience
Yeah.
could be heard. Okay, so next one. What do you geek out about?
Oh, man. Everything.
You've already kind of mentioned movies, but
Yeah, movies.
is there anything else that you geek out about?
I'm like a mega Star Wars, especially Lego Star Wars. Love Legos, love Star Wars, and guitars and gear, dude. Man, all the time.
Guitars and what?
Guitars and like gear
Gear.
for
I
guitars.
gotcha,
yeah.
gotcha.
I'm always on those threads that I say are dangerous, and then I'm like, good thing I don't have any money because I would
Yeah.
spend it all.
What about
Yeah.
you? What do you say you geek out about?
Dude, so I really feel like I don't have a certain thing that I geek out about. Like, I like a lot of stuff and I'm into a lot of stuff, but
Yeah.
not one, like, yeah, I like to hunt, I like to play guitar, but I'm not like,
You're like your whole life.
every
is in
minute
about
of
it.
my spare time, I'm not doing just that one thing that I want to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What,
But mine
what
would be
you
different.
say?
Would be- Okay, good job. You're being authentic. Way to go.
Yeah. Look
I
at
would-
that.
It's just,
I would say tech stuff for me. Like,
Yeah.
I can definitely geek out on
Yeah.
tech stuff and like sound and music too.
Yeah.
Um,
You
I
don't
need,
think
I need
music
to
is?
find something, man.
You don't think music is something you geek out about?
Well, I mean, yeah, but like, even like the people that I listen to, I'm like, I have a buddy that's like, hey, so and so is dropping an album in 2 weeks on this day. And I'm just like,
What?
how do you even know this? So I mean,
You're not like super duper invested. You love listening, but you're not like, get super invested.
Right.
I got you.
Right. I'm pretty lame.
What motivates you to be productive? So how do you get motivated?
Money.
Money, all right. You're in the wrong field to be
Yeah, for real.
man. Woo. I want to get rich. I'm gonna go work at a church in the South.
That's
start
what
out as
some
an
people
intern.
do, though. It started out as an intern. Yeah. Whenever I told my parents I wanted to do youth ministry, they're like, "Okay, go to college and get a job first, and then
Yeah.
you can worry about that."
All right, Logan. What motivates you to be productive?
I mean, if it's something that I'm doing that I care about and that I can like have pride in, then obviously I'm gonna like want to do the best I can do at it.
For me, when I get to be creative, that's what it is.
Yeah.
Like if I get a spurt, like last night, I start texting you at like 11 o'clock at night to be creative over like how we were going to be stupid in a meeting today.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, in our meeting today, he was like, okay, let's drive the golf cart in the room.
Yeah, I was like, let's go put the golf cart in the room. Let's like,
Dude,
I was willing at 11 o'clock last night to move my entire living room furniture set
Oh my gosh.
into this meeting
That's
space.
awesome.
It would have been hilarious.
Dude, being with friends and like business meetings or church meetings is dangerous
it's
because
very dangerous.
you can just derail yourself so fast.
Oh, even like just making eye contact with the wrong
Yes.
person during a meeting is so bad.
Like I
Because
mentioned,
I cannot, if you've got to be quiet and I start laughing, I can't stop.
Yeah.
I cannot stop.
And then I can't even like close my eyes because then I think about what's happening,
Yes.
and it makes it worse.
Whatever, like I said, I kind of like edgy humor, and so sometimes in a meeting, somebody will say something, and I'm immediately like that's what she said, or something like that. I'm like, no, that was not the right time to say that, as they're like, about to pray for somebody that's having surgery or something like that. So, but I don't know. I think like you, when I get like a spur of creativity, that's when I'm like, okay, I can do whatever I'm doing.
One of these earlier was, when was the last time you sang to yourself? And I was like,
Probably today.
well, y'all both sing on a regular basis, so that's only a good question for me. And I don't. Obviously, you can hear my voice. I've not been singing to myself lately.
Do you ever sing just random songs about anything?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like all the time.
She's like, yes.
Yeah, I'll
She's
sing.
calling you out now, too.
I sing about the things I'm doing sometimes.
Yes, I'm the same
Like
way.
elf style, like I'm singing and I'm
yes.
like
Yeah,
that.
exactly like that.
Oh gosh.
My father-in-law, well, my parents-in-law, I guess, are both out of town, and so I'm feeding their pig, and they've got like,
Dude, your Snapchat
yes,
today was awesome.
Yes, so I sang a rendition of Boulevard of Broken Dreams, but about me feeding a pig. So
Yeah.
it just hits you, and you gotta just let it out, man. Mm-hmm. I'm glad I'm not the only
No,
one.
we're the same.
Okay, so this is interesting. If you were being completely superficial, self-centered person, what would you really want? Like if you could have anything, just throwing everything out the window, like no repercussions or anything, what would you want? Like money, respect, a pony. That's what it says on this. That's
pony.
not right. I want a pony. I want a Shetland pony.
Man.
I want to be pink.
I would have
And a unicorn.
an infinite number of guitars because I like geek out. I probably wouldn't even play that many of them. I just have them to look at and stuff. So I would like, y'all know who Vince Gill is?
Yeah.
He has like, his house is like a museum of guitars basically.
Oh, wow.
He's just got them everywhere. And I'm like, that would be so cool. Just be able to like pick something off the wall. Oh yeah, this was built in 1943 during the war. And here's the, whatever.
Yeah,
That'd be so cool to have, but probably will never happen, but that'd be cool.
Yeah. Logan, what about you?
Dude, I was praying about it. I don't know.
Oh gosh. That's the whole point, is not like
I'll give it to charity, man. I'm just kidding. No.
yeah.
Man. I don't know.
Like if you could just have anything, what would you want? Like pick something that you would want. If somebody walked in right now and goes, I will buy you whatever you want, you just gotta tell me what it is. What is it? What's that thing? A truck?
Yeah.
A house?
Yeah,
What,
a
land?
truck. No, okay. A house with land.
There
Let's
you
get
I want a house with land. That's what I want.
Yeah.
Land you can hunt. You gotta
Yes.
be
A
specific.
lot.
Yes.
With a
Yes,
pond
a
with
lot
good
of
fish
land.
in it.
Yes. Yeah, like I want a great piece of property.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. See, it's not that hard. You're overthinking it. We have an episode about this. Stop overthinking it.
I know.
Oh man. I lost my spot.
Where's my
no.
lid? I need something to. Fondle, not fondle.
Yeah,
what's,
maybe
what's
not fun.
The, what's
Like,
the word?
I don't know.
Fidget.
Fidget. Yeah,
Fidget
there you go. I was
with.
gonna say twiddle, but I was like, that doesn't sound much better than fondle. So maybe.
No, that's
I hope that's not the highlight of the episode.
yeah, that'd be funny.
Gosh.
Some of these are like really odd that I don't know that I would ever ask somebody as an icebreaker question. Like they're really deep questions.
How do you feel about your parents?
Yeah. It will.
Well, it all started when I was
Yeah.
6.
Well, one of them was like, "What was your childhood like?" Like
Terrible. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah.
That was good.
Jake, how do you feel about the love of Jesus?
Don't get me started, bro. It's be tearing
Gosh.
up over here.
What are you bored of?
Crying. This podcast.
COVID,
No,
dude.
Podcast. COVID.
Yeah.
definitely.
Bored of it.
I'm tired. I like the disease, whatever, but like all the excuses because of COVID.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
That's what I'm
Yeah.
done with.
Yeah. Like being
Yeah.
at church and then like there's like, man, that family hasn't been here in a while, but then you
Yeah,
like
you
see them
see
every
'em at
time you're at a
Walmart.
ball game
Oh
or
my
at Walmart.
goodness.
It's like,
Yeah.
hey, Jesus is important.
That's my like
too.
least favorite thing is getting an email from a volunteer and be like, "Hey, because COVID's ramping up right now, I'm not gonna be there." And then you see them at Walmart, like not wearing a mask,
Yes.
like basically licking the shelves, and you're like,
Okay,
"Hey, come on now."
I know she'll never listen to it, so I'll say it. My grandma one time didn't come to family
She's gonna
dinner.
listen to it just because you said that.
She didn't come to family dinner one night because she was worried about COVID. I saw her the next day at Walmart and she wasn't wearing a mask. I'm like, Gran, what? What is it? Me?
Why do you
What's
hate
the
me?
problem? I was shocked.
All right, so let's end on this one. What job other than the one that you have would you want to do? So if you could change jobs, what would you do? Any job for anyone. I would start my own media company.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, you can't do that. You're already doing that.
Oh, okay.
See, like my dream job is to just do church full time. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like I spend a ton of time doing it, but it's not my full time job. But I think like since I do kind of already do that, like I do youth, which is what I wanted to do all growing up, and now I do worship as well. I think if I did something different, if I had the talent to do it, I would just want to be like a full time musician. It'd
Yeah.
be so fun just to get to work those creative muscles and,
Yeah.
and make music with the best
Yeah.
people in the world. So
Yeah.
yeah. People, my wife is very talented, a very talented vocalist, and people all the time are like, "You two should go to America's Got Talent." I was like, "Well, yeah, but she would win, and I would immediately get sent home." So like that can't
They'd
happen.
be like, "We're actually gonna let this guy play guitar and not you." You can go
Yeah,
on.
exactly. So,
Yeah.
but that would be so much fun to do because making music is so much fun. So
Yeah.
that's probably what I would do.
Dude.
Logan, what do you
That
think?
would be cool. I think so. Like if I had the talent to do it, to be a writer,
Yes.
like just to get to write with all these different artists and stuff like that, and even like to play some stuff too if I had the talent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's the thing is like, I'm not saying that I get that good, but I know that's something I can get better at and that
Yeah.
I can pursue.
I think a lot of it is pursuing it and then getting heard by the right people.
Yeah.
Because like there's people like I listened to y'all's episode on the state of music, and I won't get too deep into it because I know we're running a little long. But like y'all were talking about like some people that y'all like to listen to and like country music and stuff, and I'm like, man, there's some of those guys I know I'm just as talented as, but they got heard at some point,
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly.
somewhere.
Right.
Or there's some guys that like have no talent, but they
Yeah.
did
Yeah.
like
That's the whole Lady Gaga thing.
Yes,
Yeah,
the
man.
Lady Gaga. She did something different, so they caught her. But she, at the same time, is extremely
Yes.
talented. So
Yeah.
yeah. But you could do
Yeah.
it if you wanted to.
Or I
Okay.
could just keep the book for the Atlanta Braves.
Oh yeah.
Keep the
That-
book for the Atlanta Braves. That's
That'd
what
be
you want
awesome.
to do.
Just follow them around.
Yeah.
Watch them.
Have you seen Moneyball? As a
Oh,
baseball
yeah.
fan, you got to see. Okay, yeah,
Oh, yeah.
good deal. Good deal.
Yeah.
Moneyball's a good movie.
Yeah.
Oh man, now you got me thinking. Now I'm like, I wonder if I could be a photographer for somebody cool.
Yeah.
Dude, that'd be a cool.
I think
life.
it would be a super cool like life to be a photographer for a band, like one that you really
Who would you
enjoy.
want to do?
Oh man, I think Luke Combs would be super fun.
That would be great.
I honestly think like Morgan Wallen or Hardy would be super fun. Obviously, you know, you'd have to.
Yeah.
It'd be a little. That's a little bit more of a party life than I am.
Yeah,
But I think it'd be fun. Or oh gosh,
Miley Cyrus.
yeah, man. Oh gosh, I couldn't imagine. I couldn't even imagine doing that. No, Riley Green. Riley Green would be a cool one. I actually know who his photographer is, but
Yeah.
he would be a cool one that I'd love to.
John Mayer would be
him.
so cool. I love John
That's
Mayer.
true.
And dude, anytime he's on tour and he shares his pictures, I'm like, man, what a cool life he
Yeah.
lives, you know.
Yeah.
And then photographers just gets to hang out with him all the time.
Yeah.
And,
Right.
you know,
Yeah,
party with
and
him.
post like 2 pictures at the end of the
Yeah.
night, and you made your old job that
Yeah.
day.
Man, so cool though.
Like, yeah,
I don't have the eye for photography, dude. And
No.
I've got shaky hands. So people would be like, you know, we'll go on vacation, be like, can you take our picture? I'm like, you don't want me to, but
your iPhone got stabilizer on there.
Say cheese.
iPhone live photos are the worst thing in the world for me. I take a picture of a fish icon, it's just blurred. Oh, sorry. But yeah, I can't do that. Not good enough at it.
Oh, that's funny. Well, man, it's been good having you.
Thank you guys
Thanks
so
for
much.
joining
It's
us.
been
This
great.
has been
Yeah,
fun.
well, absolutely. We'll make sure we tag your podcast and
Yeah.
we link it on the bottom.
Yeah.
So go check
Yeah.
him out and go check all the stuff
It's
he's
right
doing.
here.
Inside the cup.
You're really gonna make me do this again.
Last
Oh my
week.
gosh! This is also how much he does not understand. He's like, put it right here. I'm just gonna swipe it away, and it's
Oh, like-
this is gonna take so much
yeah,
time
that's
to
so
go
much
do.
extra work just for that one little picture on the screen.
Whatever
Oh,
makes
man.
Logan happy, though.
Yeah,
we'll
thank you
do.
guys so much for having
Yeah,
me, though. It's
yeah,
been
for sure.
great. So
For sure.
Cool.
Cool.
we'll have to have you guys on Top 4 sometime.
Let's
Yeah,
do it.
absolutely. We'll do it.
Let's do it.
We'll do it. All right,
good.
cool.
Yeah.
Man.
All
See
right.
ya.
Later.
Bye, guys.
Thanks for listening to the Good Dudes Podcast.
To stay up to date with everything going on, follow us on all social media platforms at The Good Dudes Podcast. And we'll see you in the next one.